from New Orleans, Louisiana. It is pretty early Sunday morning and I'm headed to Cafe du Monde. I'm hearing the jazz music, so I know we're close. Can you hear me? I'm in Cafe du Monde and I'm about to have my first beignet. They look so good. Here we go. It kind of tastes like a funnel cake, but thicker, more bite. I also got a cafe au lait. Yep, I just burned myself. I got a small. You have to pay in cash here, and I only had $10 in cash. So. If you listen closely, you can probably still hear the jazz band that plays right in front of the cafe. Was at the Jackson Square and I sat there for a little bit, ate the rest of my beignets because the beignets are so dense I couldn't finish it all. But I did eventually. It just took me a minute to finish. Finally finished them, drank my coffee, sat at the square, and then went to the Cathedral. And since it's Sunday, there's mass going on right now, so I couldn't walk around. So I will probably have to circle back and see if I can walk around after mass is over. But it's so pretty. So now I am on the corner of St. Anne and Bourbon. I'm officially on Bourbon Street. When I was at Cafe du Monde this morning, I asked one of the gentlemen that worked there where is good for lunch, and he told me Willie's Chicken Shack, which I'm just now about to pass. It's not quite lunchtime yet. It's actually super early, hence why there's not a lot of people in the street. What I'm really looking for though is more like a New Orleans based meal, more like gumbo or shrimp etouffee or something like that. So we will see. Coming early in the day I feel like was a really good decision because there's not a lot of people around. Granted, there's not a lot open and it's definitely not like nighttime scene, but it's like quiet. I think since it's Sunday, they just cleaned the ground. I don't know if they do that every day, but. We are on Canal Street, and I'm wanting to ride one of the streetcars. I asked the gentleman at the Welcome Center at the corner of Canal and Royal, I think, and I asked him, hey, if I want to get on a streetcar, what do I have to do? And he didn't have too much information, but he pointed me to this white flag to walk to. He said, walk to this white flag and take the cart from there. And it's a little sketch the way that he told me, but I'm gonna take his word for it. It looks like there are a couple people here waiting, so at least I won't be the only one. So I just came off the streetcar, the St. Charles streetcar line. It's $1.25 for one ride, $3 for an all-day pass, and no change provided. So I'm back on Bourbon Street now. Still on Bourbon Street and just had lunch at Old Nola Cookery. It was really good. I got the, I think it's called like Taste of New Orleans or something like that, where it comes with gumbo, crawfish etouffee, and red beans and rice, and it was really good. My favorite was the gumbo. I'm pretty sure I'm at the corner where they did the zip lining scene on Bourbon and Orleans. I'm leaving Bourbon Street. I'm gonna head towards the Cathedral. I don't think mass is going on anymore. Raining for a second. I'm not Catholic, nor was I raised Catholic, so I don't know like all of the correct things to do when you enter, so I didn't stay very long. Okay, it's a little bit later. I just woke up from my nap. That's kind of embarrassing that I needed a nap, but it was starting to drizzle and the weather forecast said that it was going to rain today, so I was really contemplating whether or not I was going to stay. There's a fly in the car and I do not know how it got in the car. A couple of things that I wanted to mention because while I was doing my walking, either it was too loud to talk to the camera or it was usually too loud to talk to the camera, I think, most of the time. Earlier today, I was at Jackson Square, right across the street from Jackson Square, and where the cathedral is. And there was a gentleman that approached this other gentleman, and he was like, "Hey, I bet you I can tell you where you got your shoes from." And the gentleman was like, "Ha ha ha." He wasn't buying it, but apparently it's a thing where, like, kind of how you can haggle money out of people. That sounds really bad, but I don't mean it in like a bad way. Like, just like, hey, I bet you $5 I can guess where your shoes came from. When I got here this morning, there was nobody here. Maybe, that's a lie. Not too many people here at all. There was barely a line at Cafe du Monde this morning, and when I was here, and there weren't a lot of cars driving by. It was just kind of quiet and peaceful, and they were cleaning the streets on Bourbon Street. And I thought that was kind of cool, but apparently it's because Bourbon Street is usually filled with urine, and the smell of urine gets so strong that they have to clean it. So I am probably gonna stay here for the 4 o'clock switch, because around 4 o'clock things start to close and it starts turning into like the New Orleans that we all hear about, like the party New Orleans. Lesson learned number 1 so far. Almost everything here is in cash. Like when I went to Cafe du Monde this morning, you had to have cash. Thankfully I had like a $10 roll of quarters because I was supposed to do my laundry. I'm not a huge fan of museums. I think they're generally pretty boring, but there is a pharmacy museum here, and so I feel like that's kind of interesting. So that's where we're headed to next. Sundays. I really just should have done my research. gym was closed. I stopped at Cafe Beignet and had an order of beignets and in water. I feel like Cafe beignets were better than Cafe du Monde. And the reason I say that is because it was softer inside but crispier outside, and just there was no line, which is one thing. And then what else? It was more expensive, so that's a con. But then there was live music there too, so I don't know. The beignets there were better to me. Even though I didn't get my evening New Orleans experience, I thoroughly enjoyed my daytime New Orleans experience. I'm about to head to the car and head on to my next adventure. All right. As always, thank you so much for watching. Be kind and continue to occupy your space, and I will see you